Welcome back to another episode of Important Miscellaneous Talks. I'm your host, Glassford Crossfield, and yes, I'm wearing a headband over a hoodie. And today we have a very special guest. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Stefan. Um, yeah, I guess I quit my job last year, and I'm currently traveling the world, focusing on YouTube, trying to build yeah, trying to grow my brand as I'm traveling with my girlfriend. And maybe to turn it around, like, what was the reason you wanted me to have? What was the reason you want me to have you on the podcast?
I think that you have a lot of value to add. Enjoy the content that you have on your page, and it seems as though you'll be consistent. So, yeah, so my first question to you would be what makes you want to escape the 9 to 5?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I've always had this feeling when I was studying and when I was in school. Um, I don't know. I've had this itch in me that I just don't want to go through a path, don't want to follow a path that's known. It's all structured out, planned out, like work for 40 years, retire, get some promotions. I never liked that fact. Uh, I, I was always, I don't know, call it open minded or more maybe entrepreneurial. I just wanted to do my own thing. I always had this idea, but I didn't have an idea of what it is that I do want to do in my life. So I did go through the normal path in life. I went to university. I studied. I started a career through traineeship. But as I took all those steps, it just reinforced more and more that this is not for me. I need to be doing something else, something for myself, something based around creativeness. This is something I found out later on in my career. But I don't know. It's just a feeling. I always knew like this is not for me. And the feeling started with um, I must be strange because these people around me seem to just fit in normally in an office. They seem just fine, but I don't feel like I fit in. So I must be strange, or it's like I'm the odd one here. But then I figured out no, there's a lot of people who just prefer to have their own thing and go through this entrepreneurial route in life, and it's a normal thing. But yeah, you have to make the step. Like, do you want to pursue this career in an office life, or do you want to build something out for yourself? So that's what I'm trying this year.
Do you think there's anything wrong with having a 9 to 5?
No, not at all. I did have a phase like so as I said, I first thought I was the odd one out, and then I thought, wow, they are actually the odd ones. Why would you want to be stuck in a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life? And like I would really well kind of look down on them like, wow, man, why wouldn't you want to grow your own business and start entrepreneurship? And but then I realized, I mean, everyone is different. Some people prefer the unbeaten path and start their own business with all the challenges that come with it, and some people prefer the just sticking in a 9 to 5, growing in a corporate ladder, and that's fine. I mean, I'm 100% sure there's plenty of people that are really happy and grateful and content with a normal 9 to 5 office job, and great. I mean, yeah. So there's nothing wrong with it.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, especially in today's day and age, they seem to glorify the entrepreneur and look down on the 9 to 5. When in fact, we need the 9 to 5. And as an entrepreneur, you probably want to hire people who have to work a 9 to 5 for you. So how
Exactly.
can you look down on 9 to 5 when we need these jobs to keep the economy going and thriving?
Exactly. Exactly.
So what
Yeah,
do
I
you?
mean, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to say it can be even for the people that eventually don't want to work a 9 to 5, it can still be a stepping stone. So there's always a couple of years that you just go through the 9 to 5 experience, what it's like. Some people end up liking it, some people end up quitting it. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
No, no, you're good. You're good. Don't ever feel like you're overstepping me. Uh, what is the best way to escape the 9 to 5 in 2022?
Good question. I mean, yeah, there's no better time now than 2022 to quit your job. With the rise of the internet, we have so many possibilities. Like, I guess when I grew up, when I was in high school, like the only side jobs I had, that's when the internet started to come up. Like, I don't even know if WhatsApp and Instagram existed back then, but like I had a normal job. delivering newspapers and working at a grocery store. But nowadays you can set up a drop shipping e-commerce store. You can I don't know, you can literally start your own clothing brand with almost zero cost. There's tons of sites where you can design your own shirt, and there's stores where you can where you don't need your own inventory, drop shipping. And I'm using these as examples that there's a lot of possibilities on the internet to start a side hustle, grow that side hustle, scale it up to whatever it is you want to do. And I mean, eventually the more money, the more capital you have, the more possibilities you have to spread out. So coming back to your question, what's the best way to quit your 9 to 5? If you're already stuck in your 9 to 5, then you need you need a side hustle. And the best way to approach, like to pick a side hustle, is where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years from now? So look at it from an endpoint. Like, okay, you want to quit the 9 to 5. Why? Why? What is it you're lacking? What do you want to do? Is it the freedom? Is it the traveling? Is it the entrepreneurship? And based on that, when you ask those questions to yourself, based on that, you can figure out, okay, do I want to try drop shipping? Do I want to make a YouTube channel? Do I want to write a book, sell a course, whatever? Um, yeah. So I guess the first step is to just realize that you could basically do anything through the internet. You just have to decide what works for you. And the best way to do it is just try and see what you like.
Now, you had an interesting video up on your channel, and it said how to travel without having a job.
Yeah.
And you've been to a plethora of countries.
Yeah.
So, how does one do that with no job?
Well, that's the thing. So I quit my job last year, but I'm fully focusing on YouTube. And you could call it a job because, to be honest, yeah, to be completely honest, I'm working more on my YouTube channel right now than I was working at the corporate office last year.
Mm,
Like I work usually 6 days a week, and I don't know if it's 8 hours a day. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But you could say it's still working. But the thing is, it doesn't feel like work to me. I like
mm,
making videos. I like editing videos. I like posting them. I like engaging with my audience. So it never feels like work to me. I wouldn't be able to work 60 hours a week at my data analyst job last year. But I don't even know how many hours I put into my YouTube channel because it doesn't feel like work. So
mm.
maybe it's a little bit sneaky, like I'm traveling the world without a job. I do have a job and it's my YouTube thing, but it just doesn't feel like a job. It feels like play to me. So
Mm.
that's one thing. The other thing is I have my own house in Amsterdam, which I'm renting out, which also gives me a little bit of cash flow. I have some investments in crypto, in Bitcoin and other cryptos, some index funds, and slowly I'm starting, as my channel is growing slowly now, I'm thinking about like how to monetize my brand, how to monetize my channel. I'm thinking of making a course. I'm starting with coaching because there's basically been a lot of people just asking me, hey, do you offer any mentorships or can you coach me? So yeah, it's a good way to start earning some money, getting to know my audience, and based on that, maybe transform it into a course. Let's see. That's the cool thing about building a YouTube channel. You can monetize it in so many different ways.
Got you. Now, I've traveled not as extensively as you have within the United States for the most part, and it's hard to stick to a daily routine when you're doing all this traveling, and the time differences don't add up. And you're traveling to have a good time, so you might put some of the things that you should be doing to the back burner. So,
Yeah,
what are some of the ways that you stay on your routine and you stick to your habits while traveling?
yeah. So I guess what really helps is that we stay at one place for a longer time. So the plan was like one location, one destination, 1 month. And that really helps. Like you could really settle down, just unpack your suitcase, put all your clothes in a closet, find a gym. Usually they have a 1 month membership, and it's basically just follow the routine you had back home. Like, of course, when you arrive, you're jet lagged. The first day is just a throwaway day. It's always been like that up until now. But eventually, yeah, man, I just try to work Monday to Friday, sometimes on a Saturday, use the weekend to explore, travel, go to a beach, whatever. And during the week is just my old routine. And we've had periods where we didn't stay like when we were in the US, we were traveling around LA, San Francisco, Las Vegas, and then it's really difficult to stick to your routine. I mean, we're in a different city every other day. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, there's no time to find a gym. There's no time to always cook your own food because sometimes you're staying in a hotel. There's no kitchen. So I guess the big tip is just stay at one place for a longer time. Call
Mm.
it slow travel, staycation. I don't know, but that really helps.
So you were a data analyst.
Yeah.
What does a data analyst do exactly, and do you recommend that job to other people?
A data analyst analyzes data.
Well, yeah, I would hope
Yeah.
so.
No, it's so what does a data analyst do? Well, because I get this question a lot, the way I would put it is every program software thing in a company produces data, but it's just numbers. It's like millions, literally millions of numbers. It doesn't say anything. And as a data analyst, you just have to go through all those numbers and make either a report or a dashboard, come up with insights that eventually your manager or his manager or some kind of team can make decisions based on those insights. So bunch of raw data, numbers that doesn't say absolutely anything, and you transform it into tables, graphs, dashboards. If you're really good, you don't even have to show those graphs and tables. You just say to your manager, based on the data, next week it's better to quit this or start this or look into this because it needs your attention. If he then asks why can I look into the data, that's when you present him your dashboard that backs up basically what you just said. So it's, yeah, transforming raw data into actionable insights. um, and would I recommend it? Yeah, definitely. There's, at least in Holland, there's a huge demand for data analysts currently. I think this is like the, so you, 10, 20 years, no, 20 years ago, you had this wave of IT, like developers, programmers, building tech startups. And there was huge demand for people who knew how to program and code. And this is like the second wave now. We have all those tech companies, uh, but they're now starting to produce a lot of data exponentially. It's only growing faster and faster as the companies grow. As there's more companies, there's more data. And now there's more demand to transform the data into insights, and you need those insights to be to stay competitive. Because if there's two similar companies and one is using data to improve, I don't know, their sales, their costs, whatever, and the other one isn't, that one won't survive for very long. The one who is using their data will stay competitive and will survive for a much longer time. So there's always a demand for data analysts.
You have to get some certifications in order to become one normally.
uh, so here's the thing, I think it's just like any other job. You can be really good at data analysis, but if you send a resume to a company and there's nothing on it, no certification, no experience, even if you're really good, why would they hire you? So it's not necessarily that you need it, but I mean, it helps when you're applying to a job. Yeah, it helps to get past that first filter. I would recommend, if you want to go, if you want to become a data analyst without getting certifications or studying computer science or whatever, in your current role, see if there's something you can do that's data related. I mean, almost everyone works with Excel, with spreadsheets, the numbers already. That's how I started. I wasn't a data analyst. I didn't study any statistical stuff or computer science. It's just I got to work with a lot of Excel and spreadsheets. And eventually, yeah, basically the two things I did is, one, build a dashboard for my, or a weekly report for my manager. And I automated some stuff with there was already a dashboard built by a data analyst, but I automated some stuff for him. So I kind of got to work with him, learn from him, and eventually I started building more reports, more dashboards. And eventually you call yourself a data analyst. And then, I don't know, you do that job for a couple of years, and then you put on LinkedIn that you're a data analyst because you're doing the work that a normal data analyst is doing. And that's how you get experience. So you slowly pivot into that role. That's how you get there without any certification.
Got it. Got it. So how does one find their purpose?
Wow, we go from data analysis to
Yeah,
purpose.
man. Yeah, man. I want a little bit of everything.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question. I get this a lot. Uh, I guess when you're No, it doesn't even matter how old you are, but it's just if you really have no idea, then your purpose is to find out what your purpose is. So just try
Education.
a lot of stuff. I mean, there's people like, I don't know what to do with my life. I feel stuck. I feel lost. But they spend their whole day on Netflix and TikTok at home. This
Mm,
is a very small chance you'll find your purpose by scrolling TikTok and watching Netflix.
mm,
By there is a very big chance you will find out what your purpose is when you travel the world, go out, meet people, take up a hobby, go take a guitar lesson, try jiu-jitsu, go to the gym, meet people there, talk to people there. I don't know, take a data analysis course, maybe that'll be something. So just try stuff. And once you find something that you kind of like, you kind of see yourself doing for a longer time, it's not that you found your purpose, but it could be something that grows into your purpose. I like
mm.
it's kind of a I don't think there's like a purpose and you have to find it and it's like, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. I think it's the other way around. You find something you like, you get good at it, and it grows to become your purpose. Because as you get better, the more fulfilling it gets, the more you can call it a purpose, I would say. And the other thing, which is an exercise I did, which really helped me give some clarity and direction in my life, is just sit down one day and really write down, like, if I could design my own dream life, uh, whether that's like a Dan Bilzerian lifestyle, like with hot chicks and doing fun things every day, or maybe it's something simple as I just want to live somewhere in a cabin in the woods and fish the whole day.
Mm.
Either way, sit down and write down for yourself what it is that really would make you happy. Like if everything went your way 5 years from now, what would your dream life look like? And yeah, just writing it down really helps to give you at least some direction. It's not about reaching the exact dream life you wrote down because it will change. Like in two years from now, you'll be a different person, so your dream life will look a little bit different, and that's okay. But at least you'll have some direction. And once you have that feeling like I'm going towards that dream life, like that's the whole purpose, just being on that right direction, making progress toward the dream life. At least that's what it feels like to me.
I agree that if you don't know what your purpose is, try a whole bunch of things. It's your purpose is not just gonna fall in your lap one day. So just try a whole bunch
Exactly.
of different things. And what I would say is focus on the things that you're good at.
Yeah,
Even if you like partying all the time, maybe there's a career in like event planning. You know,
100%.
find out what you're good at, find out what you enjoy. I think everyone on this earth was given a gift, and I think it's important to figure out what that gift is. What do you do what do you do the easiest with the least amount of effort?
Yeah,
That's what I would ask myself. And the writing it down thing too, I think would work very well. With
yeah.
that being said, what do you think your purpose is?
Good question. So I kind of when I first did this exercise, like, I think it was like 3 years ago, I had like, I made this, I translated this dream life into like a plan. Okay, so how do I reach this dream life? And on the one hand, I wanted to travel the world before we get settled down with my girlfriend and start a family. We just wanted to like really go on an adventure, travel the world, explore, taste everything there is to taste, and see everything there is to see. Um, but on the other hand, I also wanted to settle down and like really um, double down on building a business based around creativeness, um, which I'll come back in a sec. But I didn't know how to combine that because on the one hand we want to travel, but on the other hand I want to work my ass off and start a business. It's not really, it doesn't fit. So I came up with the idea like, okay, first before I settle down and start this creative business, I'm going to travel the world and already slowly start building my brand by bringing my camera and just making a YouTube channel. Once we finish traveling, I'm going to settle down in Holland. The plan is to start a studio together with a friend of mine, and it's like a studio where creators can come and work together. It's a studio where I just want to film my YouTube videos. It's gonna be. Um, have you heard of the Tulum gym, like the jungle gym?
I know what a jungle gym is. I don't know the connection.
Yeah, like it's kind of a gym on the beach, but with like Fred Flintstone kind of dumbbells. It's like you.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
It's cool. I was in Mexico a couple of years ago, and I saw, yeah, this gym on the beach, and it was really cool. And they asked a lot of money for people to come there, and there were a lot of people. People were willing to pay to go to this gym because it was special and unique, and it was like an Instagrammable gym place. So we would want to have a gym in our studio, but it would be like a very special gym. It would be like the theme would be industrial, like everything instead of bench pressing. I don't know, just a barbell with some weights. You would be bench pressing motor blocks from some kind of old car or whatever. Or instead of pulling down just a normal lat pull down, you would be pulling down some kind of, how do you call this, an anchor of a very big ship. So make it a cool kind of studio.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, what I'm now doing is actually explaining like the plan. But my purpose is maximizing freedom for myself and my family and the people around me. That's how I would define it in one sentence, I would guess. Just not being dependent on anyone, not being chained down by a government, a country, a place. Just have full personal freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. Not just for myself, but for friends and family around me as well. I want to take care of the people around me as well.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. So you
What's your purpose?
oh man. Should have got the question out quicker. So I think I have a few. I think my main purpose I was put here to help bring people together. I would do that through my debating skills, through my question asking skills. I think I was put here to help people see things from a unique perspective. I can have anybody from any background see eye to eye. I
Okay.
bring people together and give people the empathy that they never knew that they needed. Provide people with understanding.
Very clear answer, man.
Empathize with to empathize with their enemies.
Cool. I love it.
I appreciate it, man. Getting back to my question,
Yeah.
you're you're engaged, correct?
Yeah, since 1 month now.
Congrats, congrats.
Thanks, man.
One may wonder though, with your kind of lifestyle, why would you settle down so seemingly how old are you?
30.
Got you. Well, that's still somewhat early.
Yeah.
So, well, what made you decide to settle down?
Um, Mainly because I've been together with her for such a long time. We've been together for 8 years before I proposed to her. I don't know. It just felt good. Like eventually you have to make the decision. Do you want to stick with her for the rest of your life? You want to let her be the mother of your kids? Or do you want to, I don't know, go for a Dan Bilzerian kind of lifestyle? And I guess when you asked me like 4 or 5 years ago, even though I was in a relationship with her, I was at this in the back of my mind, like I don't know if I'm ready for settling down. I don't know if I will ever be ready for settling down. But eventually, you just reach a point where it feels good, and we've been through a lot, man. We're traveling the world. Just before COVID, she was in Thailand for this internship, and I was back in Holland. So we were separated for a couple of months. We survived that. We lived in a very small studio in Amsterdam for 2 years, like really small. Uh, Being on each other's lips constantly. We survived that. So there's no how do you call this? There's no
Particular
I
reason?
know for a fact that yeah, I can spend the rest of my life with her and be okay. And I would love to have kids with her. And I mean, if it doesn't work out, yeah, then it doesn't work out. As long as she's happy and I'm happy, whether that's with us together or not, whatever happens, happens, man. And for now, after 8 years, it seems like we're happy together. So
Yeah, I think that's big that she would stick by your side through all the trials and tribulations of life. And it seemed like you've had a very interesting journey in your life and through your career choices, and she's still stuck beside you. So definitely seems like she's worthy of getting a ring. So,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
what are the necessary steps in order to become financially free?
I mean, like the the literal definition of being financially free is not having to do anything and just still be able to live your life, I would say. So to become financially free, you need passive income stream. So I don't like the word passive income stream because it sounds so people sell it like oh yeah,
Easy.
there's something, yeah, easy, passive, you don't have to do anything and you'll have income. No, passive, you build passive income streams with a lot of active effort. um, but eventually it's just, yeah, financially free is just not your time not being linked to um, your income. So if you decide to not work one day, you still have a form of income. If you decide to go to the other side of the world today, there's still some sort of income coming through. And like that's one side of it. So building income streams, building passive income streams, which can be a lot of things. You can build that Shopify store I was talking about, which mainly runs itself. You can buy some real estate, which brings out some kind of cash flow. But on the other hand, it also depends on your lifestyle. If you want to have this Dan Bilzerian lifestyle, then you need a lot of passive income streams and assets and whatever to sustain that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
If you become a monk in Tibet, you don't need any income at all. So you can be financially free as a monk in Tibet as well. You can, I don't know, if that's what you truly want, this, which is basically not much. You just I don't know what they do, meditate and do some chores and enjoy life. Yeah, there's not much they do and need, but you could say they're financially free because they don't need anything. So it's a balance from both sides. How much passive income do you need to sustain your life? And yeah, what is your life? What kind of lifestyle do you have? So you can lower your lifestyle or increase your passive income streams.
Got you. Got you. On the days that you don't want to be disciplined,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you do?
On the days I don't want to be disciplined.
Yeah, how do you fight through those days where you don't want to work out or you don't want to do filming?
Yeah. Yeah, good one. I guess so. There's two undisciplined days, I would say. There's the days I plan for just eating whatever I want to eat, cheat meals, not working out, getting drunk, whatever. But if they're planned, if they're intentional, I can really enjoy them. Like,
Mm.
for example, this month I'm doing this sober October challenge. No alcohol, no coffee, no smoking, no, try to wake up early every day. But at the end of this month, trust me, I'm gonna have a couple of beers and a cigar and so. But that's intentional. So you have those undisciplined days, which I just need every now and then. You just need to go all out and say fuck it. I'm just gonna reward myself. But those days where I really don't feel like it, I guess I just try to still make the best out of it. Like it depends on how off that day is. But if I'm not feeling like it, if I don't want to go for a workout, then I don't know, just try to do at least a little bit. Instead of going to the gym and having a 1 hour workout, do 20 push-ups at home just to keep that momentum going, because it's a, yeah, if you like give up on those days, it can become easier to give up another day as well, and then another day, and then you can ask yourself, well, why should I even go to the gym? It's easier to just stay at home. So at least try to keep the momentum going a little bit, whatever that is.
Got you. Yeah, it's much easier not to do it than it is to do it.
Yeah,
And not doing it is a lot more satisfying than doing it. So definitely I think it's smart to just do something. Get on the ground, do some sit-ups, go for a walk even if that's what you have to do to just keep the blood flow going, keep the momentum going.
exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't
And a good one is just accepting, like, this is just one of those days. Fuck it. It
mm.
is what it is. Tomorrow is another day. That also really helps.
The issue with that, at least when it comes to me, is like one of those days will turn into one of those weeks. So I
Yeah.
can't give myself that much leeway. But I'm trying to get there. Trying to get there.
So
What city? What city have you been to that you enjoy the most going to?
um so from a like a digital nomad perspective, where yeah, from a digital nomad perspective, like pretty cheap, nice weather, a lot of other digital nomads and expats. I would say Canggu in Bali.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was really like there's so many coffee places, so many places you can have really good food. There's a beach you can surf. There's a lot of gyms. There's this whole vibe of like not just tourists and people coming there to party. There's also tourists that come there to party, but just a lot of people just living. I don't know, doing work from their laptop, chilling. It's like a laid back vibe. But apart from the whole digital nomad kind of life, I would say Sydney, Sydney, Australia.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, was I don't know, it was unexpected. It is expensive, so from a digital nomad perspective, it's not the most best choice you can make. And plus, we came there in what was it, July or something, which is winter in Australia. It's the other way around. So it was pretty cold, bad weather, a lot of rain. So the weather isn't nice, but
Interesting.
still, it was an awesome experience. Sydney is such a cool city. Um, and I don't know how I can explain or why it is so cool. It's just the general vibe, I would say. It has like this Asian influence, but it's also very European. But they speak English, so it kind of feels like the US. They have really good food. Everyone is into sports. Like everyone is really fit there on a Sunday. If the sun is out, you see everyone jogging on the streets and on the beach and whatever. I don't know. We really loved Sydney.
That's interesting. I think you're the first person to tell me. Well, not that many people visit Australia. I think, like generally speaking, like the travelers that I talk to, like Australia, people have even gone there for the most part, or like it's not really as high regarded as like Colombia,
Yeah,
Brazil,
yeah.
Thailand. Interesting. I want to. I know somebody in Australia. I've been meaning to go out there. Interesting. Wow.
Australia's cool. Yeah,
Have you had pizza in Italy?
yeah.
Have you had pizza in New York City?
Also, yeah.
Which one is better?
Different. Like if it's
Don't give me that, man.
yeah, it's really it's different. I don't know how else to put it. It's
What
like really two
first?
separate I see it as two separate dishes, man. You have the New York style pizza. Okay, if I have to pick one, I would say the New York style. Yeah.
No, no one has said Italy so far. No one has said Italy so
It's
far.
different. It's different. It's like a traditional pizza. It's a different dish. You can't really compare it. It's like which pasta do you like more? Carbonara or bolognese? Yeah, it's pasta, but it's two different things. I don't know. I don't know.
Got you. Got you. So ultimately New York won.
Yeah.
Uh what country has the best food?
Um, Italy.
I
Yeah.
hear a lot of Italy too. Not with the pizza, but I hear the food experience over there I hear is different. You've been to Brazil as well, right?
No, not to Brazil.
Oh,
They
okay.
have good food there.
I heard the food out there is outstanding.
Okay. Colombia is pretty good as well. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Italy. Yeah.
So what does I seen you put in your bio like living a life of freedom, something along those lines
Yeah.
in your Instagram bio. What does a life of freedom truly mean to you?
Yeah. It comes back to the thing we just talked about, like being mm, financially free, but also location free, as in not being like preferably having a job and passive income streams that doesn't matter where you are in the world. And especially with the last 2 years with everything that happened with C-19, um, I just realized like I don't want to be pinned down to one country. If imagine you have, I don't know, some kind of business, like a brick and mortar business in Holland, you would be stuck there for the rest of life. You can't just go to Bali and live there for 2 years if shit hits the fan in Holland. No, you have a business you need to run in Holland. So being free is just not being pinned down by your own business, by your own house, by your own real estate, just being able to go wherever you want. That can be for 1 year in Canggu, 1 year in Dubai, or staying in Holland as long as you like. But if shit hits the fan, if they go into a lockdown again and you don't want to be there, you don't want to be locked down, you can go wherever you want. So it always comes down to having a business on the internet, because that gives you location independence and having enough assets that, yeah, that just bring in a steady flow of money. Yeah, and eventually freedom, just doing whatever you want to do whenever you want to do. And yeah,
If you had a, do you want to have kids one day?
yeah, for sure.
Where would you like to raise your kids? Because I doubt that you can travel as much once you have children.
Yeah, that's the whole challenge right now. That's what I'm also thinking about. It's difficult to combine that kind of lifestyle with having kids, but on the other hand, it's really getting easier and easier to have kids on the go, if I can call it like that. Because first of all, the whole educational system as it is really outdated. I mean, to sit down in a classroom and read books, and I don't know, it's kind of outdated. And I see more of a trend going towards like online education, online classes, online courses. So yeah, that would give more flexibility of where you are with your kids. Plus, I also, when I was in Bali, there was this school we always drove past by, and there were a lot of Western kids there. So I knew for a fact that there's Western, I don't know if they're expats or whatever, but there's Western kids going, English speaking kids going to school in Bali. So maybe there's some kind of, I don't know, chain of schools where if we want to live in Dubai, there's a school that where you can put your kids to go. Maybe there's a chain of schools in Bali where your kids can go and you can switch around. I don't know, but the trend is going towards more flexibility and more yeah, online based education.
Do you have as of right now, do you have a preference on what country you would prefer to raise your kids in?
Mm, from all the countries I've visited, it would still be Holland. I mean, everything is really
Yeah,
well
yeah.
organized, well structured. Yeah,
It's hard to say I'm not gonna raise my kids where I grew up.
yeah,
It's
right.
it's hard, man.
Are you based in LA?
No, everybody thinks that.
Yeah, because of your LA, because of the Lakers
Yeah,
poster. Yeah,
and the username, I understand
yeah,
it. No, I'm just a big Kobe Bryant fan. My friend gave me this for my birthday because he knows how much I love Kobe. So
got it.
I'm actually in Queens, New York.
Ah, okay, okay, cool.
Yeah. So what was the original reason that you wanted to get on YouTube?
Um, yeah, I mean, when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, I already started. This was, I think YouTube didn't even exist back then. I already started filming with my dad's cam. Like they had
Hmm.
this flip out screens, old handheld camera, which they brought on the holidays, and I use it to make like just messing around with my friends. I think it was the time when Jackass started coming up,
Hmm.
and we would do similar things like jumping off buildings.
Oh
I don't
wow.
know, doing stupid stuff, but filming it. But there wasn't really a. It was just for us as friends. There wasn't a platform where you could share your videos. And then I got into skateboarding. Then I started making skateboard videos. I made a lot of videos, but never did anything with them. And then eventually, yeah, you hit puberty, you go to high school, your hobbies and interests change to I don't know, girls and partying, and so I never done anything with video anymore. And it wasn't until what was it? Yeah, like 3, 4 years ago when a good friend of mine bought a video camera. It was actually meant for his girlfriend to make some pictures, but she didn't use it that much. And then he started making photos with it. And I thought, hey, that's cool. I was kind of into Instagram and photos. I could appreciate good photography. You know what? I'm going to buy a camera as well. It's not that expensive. Just bought a very simple Sony camera. But once I bought it to make photos, I realized, hey, I can also shoot videos on this camera. And I have actually pretty good lens. It looks really good for such a cheap camera. So it wasn't long before I got into video making as well again. And then I thought that was when we went to Mexico, my girlfriend and I brought my camera, shot some cool video footage, and just made it like a travel montage, put some cool music over it, and I posted it on my YouTube channel. And that's where the ball kind of started rolling. Like, yeah, let's make another one. I just started walking through my neighborhood, making some cool shots. Started going through the rabbit hole of like tutorials of how to make a good shot, of how to color grade it, how to add sound effects, how to edit. And yeah, I started developing what I enjoyed making, and then it kind of started playing with the idea of maybe this YouTube thing can be a kind of cool hobby project, side project. And once it got more momentum, then I started thinking like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the thing I was looking for, a creative outlet, which I can eventually also build a business around. So it started getting more serious. I was doing this next to my 9 to 5. And then eventually I made that plan, like, okay, we're going to travel for 1 year. I'm going to buy a better camera, bring it with me, and go full focus on YouTube, see what I can, what I can manage to grow out of it.
What are the goals that you want to accomplish with your the kind of content that you make?
It comes back to the purpose question. So basically, like my purpose was to create freedom for myself and the people around me. But I guess through my YouTube and through my creative expressions, to inspire other people to do the same.
Mm.
And every now and then I get a DM or a YouTube comment that someone says, like, it's crazy. I still consider myself as a really small channel, but there's already people that like take the time to write a very long DM of how I've influenced them and how they quit their 9 to 5 and started their business and are now surfing in Portugal. And I don't know. So when I read those things, like, to come back to your question, what is your purpose? So that's also my purpose, to like the to help people to go through the same journey I've been through, like having that feeling of being stuck in a 9 to 5, realizing that this is not for me, but having no idea how to get out of it and where to go, but then inspiring people and to give them like a guidance of how they can do that themselves as well. So yeah, that's the whole goal with the YouTube, just growing it out. But it's also a creative outlet for myself. I just enjoy doing it, enjoy making videos. If there's no one who says like, oh man, you inspired me with this video, I don't care. If the video is good, if I know that I put in a lot of energy and like I enjoy making it, I enjoy watching my own video, then it's still a win.
Right. Don't undersell yourself, man. You're impacting a lot of lives, and you almost have 100,000 people on
Yeah,
on your YouTube. Imagine you are
crazy.
filled. That's like 2 stadiums, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Don't undersell yourself, man. You're doing good work. 100,000 people
Thanks, man.
anywhere else wouldn't be considered small. So I commend.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks. But that's the thing. It's just hard to realize. You the only thing I see is like a number underneath my YouTube channel name, but it's so
Right.
strange to realize that there's
Surreal.
actually people there. There's actually people you're reaching.
Right. Right.
Yeah, crazy.
And my final question is, if you got a dinner with 5 people, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh. Elon Musk,
Nice.
just yeah. Apart from that, he's the richest and craziest person alive. He also just seems like a funny guy. Um, Joe Rogan,
Nice.
with him, you always know you're gonna have a cool conversation. It can be about anything, and it will always be cool with him. Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, um, hmm, Steve Jobs.
That's a good one.
I when I read his biography, this was like before I got into the habit of reading. That was like maybe the second or third book I've ever read in my life, but I read it like it's a really thick book, but I read it in just a couple of weeks. That's kind of what inspired me to like, yeah, entrepreneurship is a real thing. He started from nothing and he built fucking Apple, one of the biggest companies in the world. And that's when I realized like, yeah, like before that book, I always thought entrepreneurs were these fucking superheroes. Like I don't know how they do it, but they just do shit. But once I read that book, I realized like, no, you just started with nothing and
It was a book by Steve Jobs.
Yeah, just a biography. I think it's called Jobs. Yeah, I really love that. And through that book, I got to know him, and yeah, he's a legend. He has something in his mind, some kind of creative, innovative idea that nobody thinks would work, and it works. And he does it every time, like from the iPhone to the iPad to he even worked at Pixar. He got kicked out of his own company, then came back, and yeah, a lot of questions I would love to ask him. And it's such a shame that yeah, that he passed. So that's three. Mm, I guess another one would be uh, my grandpa from my father's side. He passed away, I don't know, more than 10 years ago, and I never really got to ask him like deep questions,
Mm.
because looking back at his life now, he really also was this creative genius. Like he was how do you call this? He built furniture. How do you call this?
Yeah, I don't know, a furniture builder.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, but in a like artistic way. Like he would build cool table, a wooden table, but he would put in so much effort and time into it, and he would build these ships from back in the days. Like he would build a model, and he would always like in the morning he would drink his coffee, have a cigarette, um, write down in a small notebook, like old school, like journal down. This is the plan for today. This is what I want to do. But this is way before productivity YouTube and all these apps were a thing. So he did this by himself. So he's really an inspiring guy. I would love to, yeah, ask questions that I wasn't able to ask.
Is that where you get the ideas from your gym with the interesting way your gym would work?
How do you mean that I got it from him?
Yeah. Or some of your ideas stem from him?
I guess so. Not directly, but I guess the whole creative itch, the building things, definitely comes from that side. Yeah. Apparently, the my father's side is a really artistically kind of,
Gifted?
yeah. We have some. I don't know. I've never met her, but I think it's like a some kind of cousin of my dad. She's a very famous painter in Serbia, or very famous. She has a reputation just painting, and so it definitely comes from that side of the family. Yeah. So I think we have four now. Yeah, Jobs, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, uh, my grandpa. It would be a strange mix, by the way, but just like individually, who else? Yeah. Um, I have someone someone in my mind, but that's like a very controversial figure right now. But it's I would say Putin, but just to ask him like, what the fuck's going on, man? What the fuck are you doing?
Nah, yeah, go ahead and say because Hitler was on my list. My five,
Yeah,
Hitler was on my list. So just
I was thinking
just
about him as
find
well.
out how
Yeah,
your mind works, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Hitler was a vegetarian, so he had some empathy for animals, but he didn't have empathy for humans.
Also, fun fact: Hitler had a micro penis.
Maybe that's the whole reason.
I kid you, overcompensated, right? I kid you not, I was
Yeah.
surprised. He's like 5'7" with a micro penis. Imagine taking orders from a short man with a micro penis, man. You have no
I
clue.
didn't know that, man.
Yeah, I googled it because I heard it like on a comedy show. I was like, no way. I googled it. I was true. I was like, wow, wow.
Damn,
That's
it
hilarious.
wouldn't surprise me that that was one of the reasons. Then
Well, Stefan, this has been an absolute pleasure. I thank you so much for coming on to my podcast. It means the world to me.
thanks for having me, man. Thanks for taking the time to actually, yeah, sit down for an hour and talk to me. I
No
really appreciate it.